Hey guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I had a lot of time to think, like always. So this is going to be another Thinking Out Loud with Froggy. I know you guys love these videos, and it's been a while since I've done one. But here's the thing, guys. I've been testing the Nvidia 5070 Ti, the 9070 XT, and the 5060 now. For the last 3 months or so. Pretty soon I'll be doing the 9060 XT 16 gigabyte, and I'll be testing that one. I've been trying to think, hey man, should I just pick up the 5060 Ti to 16 gigabyte to test that out against? And guys, when I'm looking at the price for what I paid for that gigabyte, I might just run it next to the 5060, man. I don't know if we're going to consider that fair or what. I would like to do an even 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte versus 9060 XT. But here's the thing, guys. With PC gaming, people keep telling me about this golden time, this golden age of PC gaming, and how it was so great, and you got good performance, and you got this, and you got, all of these things at a reasonable price, and it was just so cool. But I think, honestly, my friends, when you listen to the way that people talk about the issues and all of that when it comes to gaming and PC in general, you just kind of get this sense that PC gaming has always come with its ups and its downs, okay? Like, you go from one generation to the next, you get like performance upgrades, and they used to be just pretty much standard upgrades. Rasterized power would get you across. You get maybe some new features like a PhysX32 or a tessellation or something, ambient occlusion. Like weird things, that all of a sudden, down the road just become like, whatever, these cards run them no problem. And they would always come out and they would always tax your system. They would always be like, oh my gosh, I need this to run. Like there's a legit saying, can it run Crysis? For a reason, my friends. And so when we look at that, and we look at the current framework of gaming right now today, if you were to run console settings on your PCs, like, you would be legitimately fine. And I think that the way reviewers review these GPUs, they just plug them in at super high settings, and then they show you like, oh yeah, this is the best way to just show an upgrade. In my opinion, I kind of feel like that's lazy. I do. I feel like that's lazy. And I get that it takes a lot of time to go through a lot of games, to do a lot of benchmarks, to put them in a spreadsheet, all of that. Like, I get that. I'm not saying that part is lazy. I'm just saying that part is lazy, and it doesn't fully represent what you're getting. Take 5070 Ti and 9070 XT, for instance, okay? Like I said, these have been my main cards for like the last 3 months. I've legit been gaming on them. I had a 7900 XTX before that, and I've moved over to these two cards. Now, at first, when we first saw all the stuff and we looked at it, we were like, oh man, that's a side grade. That's a side grade. Going from 9070 XT over to 7900 XTX, it was a side grade. And if you run things natively, if you do things the way that we're supposed to in the PC community when we do our benchmarks and our reviews and all of that stuff, theoretically, yeah, it's a side grade. Okay, whatever, and you're losing some freaking VRAM. You're losing some VRAM. But what if I freaking told you that these new features like FSR4 or frame generation or HyperRX or any of the other stuff with the Adrenaline software actually stabilize that GPU? They actually stabilize the performance. They add performance where it's needed. They give you clarity and image quality. It brings that experience more to a much more performant place than I ever felt on the 7900 XTX or the 4080 Super when I had that. And the same goes for the 5070 Ti. Okay, when I turn on multi-frame generation, when I turn on DLSS 4, when I turn on reflex, when I utilize Nvidia's HDR, RTX HDR, or any of the other features, the incredible features that the AI and the software stack, you know, the new Nvidia app, when I utilize these features, it legitimately propels that 5070 Ti, which is essentially last generation's 80 series card. It literally blurs the line. And I'm not just saying this, like it literally blurs the line, making me feel like, is this really a 70 series card? Is this really a 70 series card? I mean, I thought they were supposed to be mid-range. Here I am rocking every single game I try at 4K. And we're not talking like performance DLSS 4K. I mean, we are, but we're like old DLSS performance. Like we're talking, this shit looks as good as native 4K. I mean, like I've said in a few videos back that, yeah, we're looking at almost a damn near like for like at performance level DLSS 4, almost a like for like when it comes to native 4K. And the same goes for FSR 4 in performance mode on the 9070 XT. So essentially is what that does, I believe performance drops you down to 1080p resolution. So you're essentially upscaling 1080p to 4K, and you are essentially getting the benefit of that frame rate. And then if you enable, say, you know, frame generation, AMD has really good frame generation now. Also, when you couple that with and stack AMD's Fluid Motion Frames 2.1 on there, yeah, Fluid Motion Frames does add like, oh gosh, what is it, like 7 milliseconds of latency or whatever. I mean, we keep hearing that, but if you're on a controller, like take my incredible Nikon Revolution X Unlimited, absolute incredible controller, and you use this plugged in, you got 1 freaking millisecond of response time out of this controller. And oh boy, I don't feel any latency on these games that I play. Like I'm a console gamer at heart, like I always have been, probably always will be, but now I am a legitimate, I'm here for the freaking show, PC freaking enthusiast. I love it. I just cannot seem to get enough of it. And I look at the experience now compared to what it used to be. You know, it used to be like if you think about it, man, if you go back to like some of them older GPUs that you might have had the most fondest memory, wherever you jumped into PC gaming at, like you're probably like, yeah, man, you still got a sugar high from that stuff, because PC gaming is literally transformational. It really does. Like it radicalizes people to the point where they legit are just outright like consoles are nothing, you know. To be fair, both PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, 100% capable of delivering a gaming experience that is more than enjoyable, that you could sit down, relax, kick your feet up after work and play and enjoy that experience. But PC gaming takes that to a completely different level in so many ways. And once you've played a PC, like you understand, like this is not, as a console gamer, I used to think, oh yeah, whatever, you guys are just blah, blah, blah. But it is true. Like it really does transform the way you play games. And when you get a whole bunch of games, okay, like in a game generation, okay, like with the 30 series, you know, I'd buy, you know, the GPU. I had 3080 10 gig, and I would play games on it, okay? And I would legit, like a new game would come out with, because I buy so many games, I would buy a game and it'd be like, boom, this game's badass, it runs great. And then the very next freaking game I'd buy it and I'd be like, what the freak, man? I can't run it at ultra, my settings are messed up, it's stuttering all over the freaking place, it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. And it was just a complete like, wow, this sucks, man. And I got that a lot with that card, okay? With under the mindset that I had at that time. I was like, what the freak, dude? This is a stuttery, stupid, broken mess. And then I get people in the comments section, you just don't know how to do. And you're right, guys. Back then, I had unrealistic expectations for my GPU. I absolutely did. And, that's to be understood. And that's why, I aim to try to enlighten people the most I can before switching from console to PC. Because you can get caught up really quickly in all of the nonsense that's out there, thinking that like, oh, I need this card to run this game at max settings. That's just not the case, okay? And sure, there was DLSS and stuff like that, but that didn't save it. I was using DLSS and it didn't save it. Like, it did not save that experience back then. But fast forward, to the 40 series, still same basic, kind of thing. I mean, you did have a little bit of mitigation with frame generation, but then you would like try to use that, and sometimes it was okay. Sometimes, I mean, if the game was programmed for it, like something like Cyberpunk, yeah, it worked fine, and it was good enough to like trick your brain. But then you still had to deal with DLSS 3.1 or 3.5 or whatever, and it still kind of stripped out the detail. It would leave streaky lines behind it. It was not perfect. It was an imperfect solution for a problem that has been around since the beginning of games. You know what I mean? Like it was there, and it was in its evolution, obviously. And the same goes for RDNA, like the 7900 XTX, my friends. Like, I bought damn near the whole stack of AMD cards last generation. And like at the end, I finally got to that point where I was like, all right, I'm doing the 7900 XTX. I want to see the power. And so I bought that, and wow, what an experience. But again, playing that, forcing myself to like 3440 by 1440p or 1440p resolution, that really made that card like absolutely incredible. Like, it was awesome. I could do everything. I could use my full frame rate with the DSC, display stream compression, all of that. And it just worked. And the Adrenaline software was cool. It would set your card up. I didn't have to look for anything or fidget with stuff or anything like that. Like, it was just a seamless experience for me from day one with AMD Radeon. So I love it. Like, I absolutely love Radeon. I think it is incredible and probably should be everybody's first PC build. Nvidia has gotten a lot better, especially with the Nvidia app. Definitely better. I would say, like, this is the first generation, my friends, of PC gaming that I feel, and I know you guys felt this way too. You're like, oh man, there's so much anxiety in the PC market because you're like, oh my gosh, if I buy this GPU, then this is going to come out, or this is better, and you're always just freaking out, like you're not happy unless you buy something like really good and you're like, whoa, this blows my mind. You're always going to have that in the back of your mind that, like, or at least, from like PTSD from like old GPU generations, like the 30 series, man. What a rough generation, man. That sucked, man. That GPU generation, the 30 series, Ampere, absolutely incredible for Xbox One games and under. Absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously, if you bought a 3090, you're still able to easily game at 1440p. No problem. And like, AMD coming along with frame generation with FSR3, making it so you got availability back there on your 30 series NVIDIA cards. So some of that stuff, you can kind of get a taste of it. Obviously, there's access to lossless scaling for $7. I personally don't like a lossless scaling that much. I find it confusing. Not only confusing, but just annoying to use. I didn't like it. I just like being able to like flip a switch in the game menu and boom, it works. Man, it's so much better. And then, going from like that generation to another generation, you just kind of get this, like, you start to build up PTSD over these GPU generations and cycles and stuff, to where you're like, oh my gosh, man, I just spent this much for that, and that one's so much better. I need to get that or this or that. Well, here's the thing, guys. With Blackwell, RDNA 4, and even Battle Mage with Intel, the inclusion of the AI stuff, and I know you guys like to make fun of it, AI. I know you guys like to make fun of it, whatever. You can make fun of it all you want, but PC gaming is changing. PC gaming has changed. Like, it is already changed. Like, it's legit in full swing. We're a few generations into it now. Guys, we've made it. We've made it through the bumpy ass annoying ride with previous generations. We now have GPUs like the 5060, and yeah, I mean this, like the 5060 that can blow the doors off any other 60 card before it, like while sipping power. I mean, legitimately, this card is running on a 128-bit bus. And I know I've made a lot of noise about this lately. Okay, 128-bit bus, it's not good for this, it's not good for that. But when I really look at it, and I look at the way like these architectures work, and like I go off the experience, okay? Like I've always been like that. You know, you can tell me till you're blue in your face how things go. I have to see it for myself. Like I'm a visual learner, I have to see things for myself. And so I've bought these cards, I've tested these cards, I've tried these, I've pushed them to their freaking limits. I've done every single thing I can with them, and I've walked away this generation of GPU, both RDNA 4 and Blackwell, absolutely freaking impressed. Like I'm a legit believer that they can do more with less. They can. Obviously, we're seeing that in real time. We are seeing that. Now, depending on how long it takes for everybody else to kind of catch up and finally be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. And the reason I say this, okay, I'm a video gamer, okay? Video gamer to video gamer. The most important thing for playing games is immersion. Am I right? It's hard to get immersed if your game is stuttering. It's hard to get immersed if your freaking textures are popping in and popping out. It's hard to get immersed if you are just having low performance. You've got, 35, 45, 35, 45. It's hard. Okay, if your 1% lows are super bad, or if you've got major frame time spikes that stop your game while you're running and everything, it's harder to get immersed with those issues, right? But what if I told you guys that enabling features like multi-frame generation or AMD's fluid motion frames or some of these other things that kind of take the load, they kind of take the load and kind of even it out a little bit so your system's not working as hard. It diversifies the system, the load on the system and everything like that. And you immediately feel, it's not that you even feel it, it's you see it, you visualize it, okay? You see the smoothness. And then you feel the smoothness, okay? Because you are getting into it with obviously above 60 frames a second. Nobody recommends trying to do it under that. I mean, Black Myth Wukong on PlayStation 5 trying to do it with 30. Commendable. They're doing it. I mean, you could probably get used to it. Your screen is smoother. Okay, I can go with that. But the immediate first thing you see is a smoothness that you've never seen before on Blackwell and RDNA 4. Like you get into these games, you play them, and like I'm 100% talking about, you have to turn on the features. You can't just, get in there and be like, because if you go into Blackwell and RDNA 4 with your old mindset from old GPUs and shit, yeah, dude, these things are, you got hoodwinked, bro. You got the exact same stuff you already bought last generation. So upgrading to these, if you're not going to use the features, absolutely pointless. Don't upgrade if you're not going to fully embrace the features and fully embrace that, like, look, man, they've cut out half the stuff that you need for the old GPUs to run the way they ran. Like think about this for a minute. They've cut out like your higher bus width. Okay, like 256-bit bus or 192-bit bus used to be what you would need for 1080p gaming, or 256-bit bus for 1440p, or 320 to 384 for 4K, whatever. They've stripped all that out, given you legitimately the bare minimum. And giving you like combinations of like 128-bit bus, 16 gigabytes of 16 gigabytes of VRAM with, 20 gigabytes speed or whatever that will, give you like 360 freaking gigs a second or something bandwidth, okay? And you look at that bandwidth, okay? And I've tried this, guys. I've been racking my freaking brain all week for the last week, because I've had this 5060 and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. How is this game playing? Like I played a few games at 4K on it, and I'm like, how the hell is this shit even working? Like legitimately, how does this even work? And then you look at that and you're like, okay. Because anytime I've tried this before on like older technology or older like, Lovelace or Ampere, RDNA 3, anytime I've tried this, like I get like the stuttery experience, okay? I get like this inconsistent experience. And so I'm trying this on Blackwell, okay? On the 5060. And even with the 5070 Ti. And I turn on like the multi-frame generation, and I turn on like the DLSS and all of this stuff. And experiences that would have once been a freaking stutter fest, I find myself immersed. I'm playing and I'm like, holy crap, dude, I was only gonna make a 5-minute video and it's like 30 plus minutes long. And I'm like, oh dude, you know what I mean? And so I look at that and I feel like PC gaming's changing forever. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't. And guys, honestly, this is off my own experience, okay? I don't watch anybody else's content anymore because it's all just negative nonsense. Everybody's out here like, yeah, we're not getting as much as we used to. And I did this too. I did this before too. So it does, man. It feels good to put a foot in my mouth and be like, okay, you know what? Maybe my assumptions were wrong, but they weren't wrong. They weren't wrong because that's the way they were before. And so I had to look at it from a new point of view. I'm like, okay, I don't know how it's working, but it's working. I'm immersed. I'm in the video game. I'm playing. I'm having a freaking good time. And so I look at that and I look at the way I feel, okay? Because we don't let ourselves get excited anymore. We always look for every negative we can, which we shouldn't do that. I really do think that other YouTubers and other content creators should embrace this technology. At this point, I do. I've played a lot of games on a 5070 Ti, on a 9070 XT. I've played a lot of games. I've turned on the features. I'm immersed all the time. Like I've never felt this good about PC gaming ever. I mean, not even on the 70, not even on RDNA 3. Like RDNA 3, I would still suffer from some of these problems, and I would have to lower my resolution. I would have to. I legit would, went out and I didn't even try. I just went straight to 1440p. Anytime I tried to go to 4K, it was just like, okay, this is. Sometimes it would work great. Sometimes it was way too inconsistent for me for a 4K experience. And I'd voiced this opinion multiple times. But now when I look at what these cards are doing, because I've legit played every single game that's come out since getting these two cards at 4K. At 4K. Like that 4K monitor, I've played them all at 4K. And obviously 3440 by 1440p. I mean, since I've gotten this card, since about the time I got the 9070 XT, I've legit been playing everything at 4K, guys. I have. And I've been like, wow, this is an incredible experience. It's like getting the job done. So essentially, guys, I think that maybe you guys should give this a try. You guys should give it a try. Go into it with an open mind. Try to just accept the fact, that like, look, we are getting the same performance from last generation natively. Okay, we are getting that, and we are being asked to pay the same price for that respective power from last generation. I don't necessarily see a major problem with that. I know that they came out and said, look, this is the prices, and the prices have been higher. Like I said, I don't necessarily see a bad. I don't necessarily see that as being like super wrong, that like the prices are, holding that value from last generation. And once you've tried all these features, guys, you legit understand, like you do. I mean, I'm at a point right now where if the 24 gigabyte ROG Astro does come out, I will probably end up buying that by the end of this generation. Just because if I'm going to spend that much money on a GPU, I want 24 gigs of VRAM. I went back and forth with myself. I've had the 16 gigabyte 5080 in my cart a lot of times. And I keep saying, no, if they come out with 24, then I will make the jump. I'll buy that. But I want more VRAM, because that card with the allotment, I mean, with freaking frame gen, multi-frame gen and all of that stuff, it's going to be awesome. Now, I would love for Nvidia to be able to, you know, work on that and make it significantly better on the Blackwell series, but you know, you're going to get a pretty big upgrade with the next upgrade iteration, and the same for AMD. Like AMD, if they came out with a 9080 XT, I would absolutely jump on it. I would absolutely freaking try to buy that card immediately. That's just the way it is. I think that personally, this is where I sit with this. Personally, I think we are getting way more bang for our buck when it comes to these GPUs now. I absolutely believe that. I don't ever feel at a disadvantage anymore. Like, I don't ever feel like, oh man, I can't play that game. Really? I wanted to play that game, but I can't play that game because it's a stuttery, broken mess. But now I've got multi-frame generation, at least on a lot of these new games. And there's a driver, there's like driver options to be able to turn it on and stuff like that. So this tech is going to get better. It's going to get better, and it's going to be even smoother. Like right now, it feels pretty good. You do get that latency penalty, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people try to make it out to be. There's a lot of gaslighting out there over PC gaming right now, and I'm here to tell you it's the best it's ever been. It really is. It really is the best it's ever been, guys. Like, you ain't beating this stuff. You can keep onto your old cards all you want. That's fine. Do what you got to do, my friends. And yeah, dude, like, nobody's like I said, if rasterize is your thing, because it was mine before. If it's your thing, look, you're not getting a big enough upgrade. You're not getting a big enough upgrade this generation to really make that jump. But if you are on anything older than, say, Ampere and RDNA 3, oh yeah, you are going to get a massive boost to your freaking experience. Massive. I still to this day stand by, you could probably get by pretty well on 7800 XT. For that matter, you probably get by pretty well on 4070 Super. Seriously, man, just put it on a 1440p monitor and like adjust your settings accordingly, and you can have fun, man. Like, you can legit have fun. So yeah, when it comes to like PC gaming, I think things are definitely better than they've ever been. I do stand by that. I believe that. I think that is where things are going. Obviously, it's a 50-50 split now. You got 50% hardware performance, you got 50% software performance, and they really do, man, they're good. They're getting better yeah, wow. Wow. So if you guys like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching another Thinking Out Loud with Froggy.